Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to do a project for you today. So this, if you follow me, you know I do an online card club. You can subscribe to it. It's like a subscription service. You can go to this video and find this tutorial, which is just a couple back, maybe one back. I can't remember if I've done anything in between them. But it's real close. So if you are interested in getting all the card club details, you can go watch this. But for card club, those of you that are in card club, I often do an alternate stamp set. And with the alternate design, everybody gets to see the projects, and the people who purchase the alternate set then get the supplies to make it. And I really wanted to do an alternate set this month because we're using the Winter Meadow paper, and it lends itself so well to so many other stamp sets, not just the Magical Meadow bundle that comes with it, and that's the one that I'll be using in Card Club. But it just works well with a lot of other stuff. But Card Club has to go out Thanksgiving week, and I host Thanksgiving. My daughter has another bridal shower Thanksgiving weekend. I don't decorate at all before Christmas. I mean, before Thanksgiving, for Christmas, because I host it. And if I was going to decorate it, then I just do Christmas. So I'm a big stickler, at least at my house, for no Christmas until after Thanksgiving. But then once Thanksgiving is here, we have lots of trees, maybe 5 larger size, and our grand tree is usually 10, 11 feet tall, but every corner of my house is decorated. But I have to have it done by Sunday night of Thanksgiving weekend. So as much as I wanted to do an alternate set with this paper, I'm not going to, but I'm going to show you then a couple of them. And so everybody gets to see them, not just the people in Card Club. If you're in Card Club, you could easily add the set that we're going to use today, the 2 sets, to recreate the card because you'll have the paper. So I'm going to use the Winter Meadow paper. It's beautiful. And like I said, I am doing Magical Meadow bundle with Card Club. But the paper it's really pretty. It's kind of more of a winter paper. So you can see it here. I have done this card. So you can see just how different the papers look. And then when I show you the last card, I'll pull these back out so you can see 3 totally different cards. I love this piece here. So if you're in Card Club, you could easily recreate that as well, because that's mostly just the paper. But for today's card, I am going to use these 2 stamp sets. I'm going to use Forever Forest and Night Divine. I have so many things that I've done with Night Divine, but I'm using it for the sentiments. So I decided not to pull all those samples over here. If you don't need any more Christmas cards, you can do a sympathy. You can do a happy birthday. You could do an anniversary. The card that I'm going to make is pretty winter generic, but I still need some Christmas cards. So I went with this set. It comes with, I think this is the one that has the nativity. I get the 2 confused in that bundle. And then I'm going to use Forever Forest. It was one of the first cards I made when the holiday catalog was released this summer, and I was trying to use Christmas things and not make them be Christmassy at the time. So this was my Forever Forest, which is not a Christmas set, but it was just the holiday catalog. Then the stars for the Oh Holy Night Suite have sold out, so they're not getting any more back in. They sold way more than they ever anticipated. But this particular set has these dies right here. And you can see I popped those out of the foil paper. You could do them out of gold foil, and you could get a bunch of stars if you want them, and just put the adhesive on them as you put it through, or you can just punch them out and then glue your glue dots. I'm not sure how I did it on this card because it was in the summer. You could go watch that tutorial to see. So one thing about the stars, I love the stars, but I had a hard time when I was using the nativity things because I felt like there should be one big star, right? And so then I didn't want to use up all of my little stars, because you don't want one big star and 2 little stars. And then if you use the star dies, you had lots of stars. And again, I wanted to have the Star of Bethlehem. So these will be a nice alternative if you need it. So let's make the card. It's got a twist, a little bit of the art of stamping to it. So I'm going to use this piece of paper here as the inspiration for our card. And then I have Night of Navy. My original card was on Misty Moonlight, and I pulled it off and I went Night of Navy instead. So this is just basic standard card size. And then my paper is cut 4 by 5 1/4. So it's going to go on here. It's so pretty. And then the other side of this, like all the strips that you get left, you can use that to stamp greetings on often because it's just a nice muted pattern. And then I have a piece of Misty Moonlight, a piece of vellum that is cut 4 1/4 by about 2, and I'll probably trim it down. I left it a little bit bigger to make it easier to stamp on. And then a piece of our, I think this is the Supple Shimmer paper. So what it actual name will be down below the video. So let's make this card. Even though it's art of stamping, I think it goes together pretty quickly. So I'm going to stamp with Misty Moonlight. And I was torn because there's several trees in this set. So you could do more trees, you could do less trees, you could cut these trees apart. But I'd already stamped these and done them. And I think you could use smaller trees to see more of the paper, or you can use this. It doesn't matter. I'm going to stamp these on my Misty Moonlight with Misty Moonlight ink, and it comes out darker, this tone on tone. Sometimes that doesn't, but this will. So we have our trees. And then I'm going to put these through my cut and emboss machine. So let's do this one. And again, the dies for the Forever Forest have lots of different tree sizes. So I just went with the biggest. And then this one here cuts them out. But it cuts them out in a way because they're not touching. If you want to trim them and use fewer trees, or if you are making these for Christmas cards and you want to go faster, do one and cut it apart, and then you'll have 3 trees and just put 2 trees on your thing. So it's totally up to you, but I went with all the trees. It's a forest. It's a Forever Forest, so I feel like it needs to be foresty. So those are cut, and you can see what I mean. They would be easy to trim apart. Then just a little tip with this, I have found it looks like it's cut pretty well, but to help it pop out a little bit easier and get all those little things, I think it's faster to send it back through. And that was just one pass. I didn't go back and forth. So the second time I did it flipped upside down. This is the other reason that I didn't do it for club, because die cutting takes so long to do it for all of you club people. And my husband started remodeling our kitchen when I went to Las Vegas. So it's been a hot minute. When I went to Backstage, he got bored, apparently. And so he decided he would remodel our kitchen. And did you catch the little part about I host Thanksgiving? So my kitchen is not, well, currently there are no cabinet fronts on anything in my kitchen. Upper, he did the lower, but he just totally changed the color, a color that we had talked about, so it wasn't like that was a surprise. But he painted some of the cabinets, and then with the leftover paint, he went through the kitchen and just dabbed it on all the places that he needs to touch up. So that's never been fixed, and our kitchen was the color of green. That was the color. It was very hard to find when we originally did our kitchen, and now everybody's kitchen, you know, it's that kind of dusty green. So pop all these little pieces out while I tell my story. So then the new one that we have, it's a magnolia color. I think it's called Weekend. It's very pretty. It's a blue-green. We're changing everything to gold. So he took all the knobs off. So we have some old knobs. He didn't take all of them off. He took some old knobs off. He took some. We're changing from gold to silver. So right now our kitchen is a hot mess. And he is my main die cutter. But he's also doing the kitchen renovations. And those, it doesn't all have to be, it won't be done before Thanksgiving. But then if it's not done before Thanksgiving, it's also not going to be done before Christmas. So he's trying to at least make it so it doesn't look like you've just walked into the middle of demo day. I would have liked him to have started the project. There was nothing wrong with our kitchen. People love my kitchen. So it was quite fine. And I would have preferred to have started it after the wedding in February. But, you know, boys. So I came home and he was all excited to show me that he redid the countertop on the island, but not the rest of the countertop. So now we have 2 different colored countertops. So there we go. Now you got a story and you got that. But part of the other reason I was doing that was because I wanted in live time for you to see that this needed to dry in a second, because we are going to emboss this. This is a little bit where the art of stamping comes in. I guess I need a piece of scrap paper. And if you do what I'm going to do, and especially with this blue ink, if it hadn't had a second to set and it rained last night, then it would get your Versamark pad dirty. But we're good now. So I'm going to take my Versamark pad and I am just going to stamp all over it. It doesn't have to be everywhere for this one. You know, sometimes I just did the one not long ago that had the leaf and we made the little medallion, so you could do those for Thanksgiving. But for this one, if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. And then we have this here. I'm just going to do this and then we can do this is my vellum. And I am going to do Glory to God in the Highest because I think it looks really well. I almost did the Stars Are Brightly Shining, but then I felt like I needed to cut those stars out and I didn't want to take the time. So you can do the Stars Are Brightly Shining because this set does come with those stars and it would be perfect. So I've got that. And then I have some clear embossing powder, and I have used so much clear embossing powder recently that this could use it all up right here. So pop this on here. When you stamp on vellum, because it takes it a minute to dry, you can just use a regular classic ink pad and it will stick to that. And then let's get this. And again, this doesn't have to be everywhere. If it doesn't get everywhere, I'm okay with that. I do want it to kind of be on the tips and the trunks. I mean the tips. The trunks get buried underneath the design. Just going to do it like this because this is pretty much all of my embossing powder. Down here, I may not have gotten ink on that part. There we go. And then because this is the end, I'm not going to put this back in there. I am going to just lay this on here. So some of it will have a little bit more, a little glassier. So grab your tweezers for this. It is easier to do it with the tweezers. And I'm going to hold it down here at the bottom where there's not a lot of embossing. And then because I've got all this extra on, you need to heat it from the upside down. Now that it's mostly on here, some of it will blow away, but I'm going to kind of do it far away. And I like it on this particular stamp because it kind of looks like frost. It gives it a little bit of a different texture. And then we'll do this one. This one goes lickety-split. If you like the kind of frosty way that extra kind of stacks up on there. Let's put this together. This card, that's the longest thing. The time that it takes to emboss, that is your longest. Because there's no ribbon, you don't even have to tie the ribbon. So I'm going to got a little bit of the embossing powder that blew off. So if you were giving this card to a guy, because sometimes, you know, like when my father-in-law was living and we sent him Christmas cards, I like to have Christmas cards that were festive but not super glittery. So in that case, you can do this card just as is, or if you want, don't emboss this. It is a little less shimmery that way, or emboss, instead of in Misty Moonlight, emboss the trees themselves in the clear. Got that. Let's stick these on here. Because they've been embossed with so much powder, I would put ample amounts of adhesive back there to hold it on. And then I'm going to take my Glory to God in the Highest, and I'm going to put my adhesive directly over the 3 lines that are the largest. That way it will, oops, I need it a little lower. I'm talking. I really needed to trim it, so I'm going to trim it. Okay, well, so we'll trim this. I forgot to do it. Do it before you put the adhesive on. It's a little bit easier. And then I just want it to be down here underneath these trees. And the nice thing about vellum, you can make sure your words are straight, and if this isn't straight, nobody's going to notice it. And then I'm just going to come over here where I know I'm going to stick my tree. Everybody always asks me, how did you get your vellum on here? There's ways that you can do it, but you can see even there, it's hard to see this particular seal underneath the vellum. Let's get this tree. Kind of stick it in here so it's on the forest. And then I wanted it to look like there was more snow. So at first, this is the first thing I did. Let me figure out which pen is which. I saved my old Stella's. And so again, if you're giving this to a guy, you don't have to do this, although I think it just looks like frost. So I'm just lightly putting some Stella down on the blue. It looks really pretty. I don't know if the camera will catch it as pretty as it actually is in real life. And then I just hit these trees, the blue ones. The stamps have some mountain dies, so if you want to do a birthday card with wintry mountains. My future and son-in-law loves to ski, so you could easily change to that. It still wasn't enough snow. Like, I wanted it to be snowy. So that is easy to do. I'm going to take our white refill. So if you buy a white pad, it automatically comes with the white refill, at least for the last several years. If you have an old one, it might not have, but recently. Oh, and look at this. I have my empty embossing thing. So I'm just going to put a little bit of embossing, of ink refill in here. It's a craft ink, so it's thick. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of water, which I'm lazy. And there is water in my water painter, just a tiny drop. You don't want very much water, and this kind of helps control it. Plus, you feel like a mad scientist. So just one drop of water. You don't want too much because the ink will already take a little bit of time to dry, and you don't want it to take more time. Then you could use this if you wanted, but because I keep my old Stellas, this is an old one. It doesn't have any ink left, Stella ink in it, but the brush on it is fabulous. So I'm just going to kind of mix this up. The water helps it be a little bit more flingy. So I'm just going to fill this up. And it's good that I have that because we are going to do this. If you're watching and you come to my in-person camps, this is a November camp card. So you can just splatter. Now this will take a minute to dry, so don't put your hands on it. And then because this has a lid, you can see I made this card yesterday, so it sat overnight, but because it has a lid, and I will take a piece of washi tape and I'll mark this as, or you could write on it with Sharpie, that this is your white ink brush. And now because I've got this, I can just put this in here and it will stay wet as well. And then we can use that at camp because I'm putting all this immediately up for their camp project. And then I'm going to use the Adhesive Back Sparkle Gems. I went back and forth because we have snowflakes. We have some really pretty blue ones. The ones that you're getting in camp in club this month would work. But I really just liked the little bit of silver. And I don't know where I just had my take your pick with a tip on it, but these come off really easily. Just be careful. I would wait till it's dry because any place I touch with the ink that's wet could get on my hands. So I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3. I think they go in with the Stella and the white nicely. They're one more little accent, but they're not one more focal point. I didn't want another focal point. That's the thing also in club. I try to always teach you some little tips like that. Like you want this to be the focal and you want those to add and be a highlight. So here you go. Here's my other one. They're gonna all end up about the same. This one little bit more blizzard over here because I'm on camera. And I often do that. I hope you can see how pretty it is. Nope, I thought maybe I used dimensionals, but I didn't. So they're basically the same. So here are those two cards. And then here is the same stamp set. This is with, I think this is with the paper from the daisies. Maybe not, I don't remember. It's an unexpected paper. It's either daisy paper or from the Nativity. It's from one of those. It may be from the Nativity. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since I made this card. I don't know which one it is, but it's copper. And again, it's an unexpected paper choice. It's great when you have some leftover paper. And then, so we have these, and then here's the same paper. That's why I love this paper. There's so much that you can do with it, and it's not going to look like. Last month we did Joy of Christmas. Love those cards. Those cards are fabulous. Every single card has kind of a similar theme of the red and green and the brown, and it's beautiful. But this is one paper packet that doesn't carry over into the same kind of theme. So if you're interested in joining my card club, you have to do it by the 10th. This month, from once fall hits, it's like my months get smushed. And also because we have lots of wedding things. We were at a shower in New York last month. So I haven't had as much warning for everything, but it's okay because I have a lot of people in my club and we're this close to being full anyways. So everybody have a great day. All the information is on my website or you can email me. I'll catch you back here later. Bye.